Damn, that's a real nice sunset. I'm Joel, I'm here in the Caribbean, and this is what I'm doing right now. Michael, what are you doing right now?
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning. We're about to go interview the police.
He's a detective, apparently.
Oh, does he come and go?
I don't have a response to that, Michael. He's a professional police officer.
Yes, my name is Detective John Hatcher. I've been with the Casper Police Department a little 18 years. I'm the Public Affairs Officer for the Police Department here in Casper. And as far as things, I'm part of the media to welcome everyone here to Casper and just talk to people how we've prepared for this eclipse.
At what point did you start preparing for the eclipse?
We started preparing for the eclipse for over probably a year and a half ago. And then in probably the last 9 months, we've had a little more extensive monthly meetings, and then it went all as closer weekly meetings. And we were supposedly getting 35 to 40,000 people come in here for this eclipse. The biggest event that we have is the College National Finals Rodeo. That comes in once a year, and it brings in 17,000 to our small community, which is nothing compared to 35 to 40.
Yeah.
So we really didn't know how to prepare things about it, so we did start studying other communities, big events. We reached out to New Orleans and see how they deal with Mardi Gras. We went up to Sturgis, South Dakota, see how they deal with Sturgis up there with the motorcycle rally.
What were some of the interesting problems that you hadn't thought about before you heard someone else talk about them?
Well, one of the biggest thing as far as is the cell service. Here, we don't have as many cell towers as some of the bigger cities and everything else. And so we are now prepared our community and everyone coming in that a possibility of having limited cell service. You might try to get on your cell phone and you're not going to be able to get it.
Did you guys have to bring on any temporary hires for this?
Nope, we have just under 100 sworn police officers here at the Casper Police Department. No one got vacations, so they're all working at some time during 12-hour shifts. They're staggered shifts. We have officers that are on foot and bikes going around to the festivals and events and trying to just make sure everyone's being orderly. And then we actually have our other officers assigned to respond to community calls.
Did you have to do anything to prepare the officers to, because it's an eclipse. Right. Everyone's gonna want to be looking up there, but if all of the policemen are also staring up at the eclipse for 4 minutes, however long the totality happens.
Yeah, so we have told them, and make sure we've also made sure all of our officers have the eclipse glasses, but we've also told them that's kind of, you have to make sure you're looking around and making sure that you don't get distracted.
Cool. I don't have any more questions. I think that's it.
Everything?
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. Thank you very much. I dropped my gum, but I picked it up because I don't litter.
Don't put it back in the mouth.
This is the guy that, peanut M&Ms will fall on a dirty ground, and he'll pick it up, rub it off, and then stick it in his mouth and eat it.
Just boosting my immune system.
There you go. And having a delicious treat at the same time.
Yeah.
My name is Katelyn Humphrey. I'm the 4th mayor of Casper, 4th time, so I've been around a while and seen a lot of things.
We're from Montana. We traveled out here for this event, and what I found most interesting was the idea that the eclipse is going to happen whether you like it or not. So Casper just kind of has to accept that there's going to be this influx of people coming in. How do you prepare for something like that?
You know what? We welcomed it, and what we did was pulled all of the agencies together that could be potentially impacted by this type of a situation. We tried to anticipate worst case scenario, hoping that we would have the best case scenario, and really everything is so smooth right now. We're just blessed.
So you're getting this big influx of people, and then they're going away. What kind of preparation did you do for the aftermath of when everyone's gone?
I think the biggest thing we're going to have to think about is how to really get everybody safely onto the highways and the interstates. So really we're just going to try to slow traffic down, but get them on the road and make sure they're safe.
I think you've answered all my questions.
That was easy.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
What do you guys think so far?
We're from Missoula, Montana, so it's just, I think you guys are at about 60,000 population
Pretty
roughly,
close.
and we're just 65, 70, something like that. So
Similar.
It's fairly similar sized. I think this is a little bit drier, just slightly. Missoula's pretty dry, but it's got a similar kind of vibe. Everyone seems to, it's small enough that you have people that you know in town, you see familiar faces, but it's also big enough that if you want your big box stores or your Hardee's, it's there.
Still have all that. Yep.
We are here with Fire Chief Kenny King. How long have you lived in Casper?
This is my 37th year in Casper.
Wow. Did you do fire stuff in other places before you
I
came
studied fire science in Toledo, Ohio, and I sent my resume nationwide, and I ended up in Casper, Wyoming.
The eclipse is going to come through whether anyone likes it or not. So Casper has to prepare for this giant influx of people. And from the point of view of the fire department, what does that mean?
We judge our service by response time and also by if you dial 911, you do get emergency services. So we wanted to keep the emergency services up for our community during the eclipse. So if our community was going to double in size to, let's say, 120,000, so we figured how do we strategically locate ourselves and double our response plan in order to give the exact same level of service as you would any other day here. We put 2 trucks at every fire station, double staffed with 3 firefighters each. And so we mathematically, we should be able to handle twice the population.
How long ago did you guys start preparing for this?
Oh, it was 2 years. It was 2 years in the planning. And I did just happen to look at my calendar before I came here, 151 meetings.
Wow. Were they all productive?
Yeah, I mean, and they would go from what happens if we don't have enough water? What happens if our sanitation breaks down? And just the what ifs were starting to drive us crazy.
What were some of the more obscure or interesting, unexpected problems that you thought might arise?
Some of them thought that we would not have enough electricity to serve double the population. So we went to the power plant and they said, nope, that would never happen. And now today they're expecting 200 flights to land at the airport. So they're kind of scared, can they land 200 planes? But if you go out there, they say, yeah, no problem. We've always planned on building a beautiful plaza downtown, but we accelerated the construction to get it done before the Eclipse Festival. So again, we never had a downtown festival of this size. So we didn't know what streets to block off and everything we're learning. And then when we study other cities, Cheyenne has a beautiful rodeo, Frontier Days, and Sturgis has the motorcycle rally, but they've done it 100 years. They got good at it and learned this is our one shot at it. So we're learning as we go, but it has not been bad. We've not had fortunately, no injuries or deaths.
What kind of preemptive things are you doing to ensure that nothing catches fire in the first place?
We put a total no fire burn restriction on the county. So we don't want any accidental campfires getting out of hand, or even someone coming in at a KOA starting a fire. So there's no open fires in the band in Casper. And then we have a beautiful river that runs through our city, and we have life jackets, free life jacket stands set up for anyone who wants to decide they want to go in the river. Yeah. Please grab a life jacket stand. And then we have 9 first aid stations set up with doctors and nurses staffing throughout the festival. And if the festival goes to a concert, the first aid stations go to the concert. And if they go to let's say a beer festival that's being held yesterday, the first aid stations went over there. We're filming an interview!
Kelsey right here wanted me to ask you a very important question, and that is if you guys have a fire dog.
We do not have a fire dog. And they said it was about 30 years ago. Well, they had a fire dog, but they fought over it. It was like, whose turn to clean it, who takes care of it. And so and the old time chief said, okay, no more dogs, no more dogs. The firemen couldn't handle the responsibility.
You guys have a fire pole?
We do not have a fire pole.
Man.
All our stations are built on one level. We do have an old fire station right down David Street that does have both fire poles in it. It's been turned into office spaces. It's beautifully done. If you get a chance, go look at it. At least go through the windows. It's gorgeous.
Do they still let people slide down?
Yeah, the owner will let people slide down.
I might have to check that out.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure. Pretty good. I'm not exactly sure how it's all going to cut together yet. For today's vlog, we'll probably put a substantial part of all of the interviews in, but we want to put a video up on the main channel just showing off the Eclipse in general, and so we'll probably have some of these interviews in that as well. Today we've learned that Todd is part crocodile.
Look at that. Feel it.
Yeah. It reminds me of like petting the neck of a turtle.
How many times have you done that?
A lot.
I have never done that.
Sounds like a euphemism. handsome.
Just gonna go pet the neck of my turtle.
Yeah, exactly.
My girlfriend in high school had a turtle, just wandered around the yard. There's a turtle tortoise thing at Animal Wonders that I've played with.
Apparently when I'm sitting at my desk, I was told I just need to have it rested in water, so I'll be T-Rexing a lot.
You're just absorbing the water through your elbow.
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out. I will keep you updated.
You know what I think Abby would appreciate? Lee's Glass Incorporated. Give us a break.
Oh, the pun.
Yeah.
It's real good.
Yeah. So we're walking through downtown Casper to a restaurant down here, and what I thought was interesting so far was that I haven't seen anything political yet. I kind of expected with this many people there'd be some kind of like political activism sign going on, but I haven't seen that yet. Yeah. Eggington's. Oh boy, that's an hour wait. I'm gonna go somewhere else.
You know how much you like sandwiches?
Yeah.
There's a sandwich bar.
The sandwich bar?
You have to be 21 or older to buy a sandwich there.
Why?
Because it's a bar.
Logan's only 20.
You can use my ID, it's fine.
We're gonna use a fake ID to get a sandwich.
These are some serious sandwiches.
Okay.
Also, this is a serious dog.
Look at all these sandwiches that people got at the sandwich bar. That's not where that goes. I just looked up how much it would cost to buy a soda fountain. For like a 1 or 2 flavor tower, it's about $1,000. So now I just need to figure out how much syrup costs, and then I need to figure out how long it would take me to save money going that route as opposed to just buying cans of soda all the time. Can we write it off as a business expense if it's for the office?
Yeah.
This 6 flavor tower, $3,000.
Yeah.
Yep, there it is. It's in there. It's in there.
Can you see its little hourglass?
You can see it from the top.
Yep. I was excited to have some froyo, Todd, but look at this. Look at this.
But that means we can just buy it, and then we can open the boba shop here.
Oh, we'd make a lot of money this weekend from all the people here. Man, look, the froyo's scrumptious even. That's too bad.
Well.
Oh well. It took like a month from the beginning of this season, but I think we finally have some Comic Sans. Ooh. Kelsey's gonna ride the bull.
I've never done one of these things before.
This is a peanut butter and jelly cupcake.
Is there jelly?
It tastes like peanut butter and jelly. Where are you guys from?
Yeah, well, we're from London. Well, precisely, it's Reading.
You guys came out here just for the eclipse?
Yeah,
Yes,
pretty much,
we've been planning for a long time. 5 years planning.
Wow.
We booked the hotel room 2 years ago.
Wow.
But this is it now, not long to go.
So knowing that you had basically the whole United States to choose from, why Casper, Wyoming?
The weather statistics for the clear sky, it was the optimum position.
So what would you have done if it turned out it was going to be like cloudy and overcast tomorrow?
You know, we would just take it as it came and shrug our
Good
shoulders.
atmosphere here, and everybody's having a good time. It's nice to be part of it,
It's
really.
yes, it's the occasion as well. It's not just the astronomy, it's the occasion and it's the events going on.
We're really loving it here, though. It's really nice, beautiful scenery, you know, a lot of space. I mean, back home we're very cramped in the UK, so it's lovely to have the space, and yeah, the scenery is fantastic. Yeah, so it's great.
Are you from Casper?
I'm not originally from Casper, but I work here.
All of these people are basically coming into your community right now.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Some people are excited about it, and we've seen some other people who are like, get these people out of here.
I'm actually surprisingly indifferent. I understand the economic value of this, so there's a lot of revenue that's coming into the area, which is good. I wish the traffic was a little bit better, but other than that, it doesn't bother me at all.
Where are you guys going to go see the eclipse tomorrow?
I honestly don't know. You'd have to ask my wife, that smoking hot lady right over there. This is my smoking hot wife.
Where are you guys going to watch it tomorrow?
Probably just walk outside and
Just right in the backyard?
Yeah, exactly.
Eclipse artifact. I'm here with
Chris Katsavriadis.
My understanding is that this is going to be your 17th eclipse.
It's my 17th eclipse. I've got the badge.
Yeah.
And I've got the list of previous eclipses on the back of my T-shirt. And we're looking forward to it. The weather's looking really good. The welcome in Casper has been superb. And hopefully we'll have a good eclipse for the 2 minutes, 20 seconds or so that it's going to be total.
I guess with the whole United States available to you, because it's basically crossing the whole thing, why Casper specifically?
There are two reasons. First of all, we wanted the weather to be good. And in the west of the USA, the weather prospects were better. Plus, it's a morning eclipse. So if there are clouds to be formed, they're less likely to form before noon than afternoon. Whereas in the east of the country, it's more likely to be the weather is affected by the Caribbean, or the Caribbean, as you say, and then also it's an afternoon eclipse, so there's more likely to be clouds. And secondly, Casper is right close to the center line, and there are highways that follow the center line for hundreds of miles on each side. So if we had to move, we could move quickly and stay within the path of totality.
My initial thought when hearing that you've seen 17 was like, surely after like 7, you'd be like, okay, I get it. Like, why?
Well, it's like if a nice beer or a good food or a music concert, you know, you don't say, right, I've seen my favorite band 3 times, that's it, I'm going to retire now. Or I've had my favorite meal, that's it, I don't need to have any more. It's a wonderful natural phenomenon, and it's exhilarating. And what's really special about it is it's so rare, and you have to go and look for it. It happens in one place roughly once every 400 years. So most places, when we arrive, they won't know anything about it. Normally when you're a tourist, you arrive in a city and people tell you what to see, what to do. Whereas here, it's the eclipse chasers that know more about what's going to happen than the locals do. And that makes it special as well. And the build-up, like, look around you now, you've got all these people, they're excited, they've made a long weekend out of it, and they're going to see something. You know what they're going to see. As an eclipse chaser, you know how they're going to be freaked out. This thing can't be overhyped. But you know what they're going to see, and then that makes me excited as well to see people's reactions afterwards.
Yeah. Have you already planned out your next eclipse after this?
The next few eclipses, yes, we've got 2019 in Chile, we've got 2020 in Argentina, we're going to do some wildlife watching there, we got 2023 in Australia, and 2024 the eclipse comes back to the US, but we'll probably be in Mexico for that one because the conditions are better and it's longer there.
It never even occurred to me that the eclipse duration would be affected by the position on the planet.
It varies from a number of factors. The distance that the moon is from the Earth varies. So if the moon is far away, the eclipse will be very short because the shadow of the moon will be very narrow. If the moon is very close to the Earth, then the shadow will be wider and the eclipse will be of longer duration. And also,
this fly is really wanting to be in on this interview.
They are. Well, they want to see the eclipse as well. And also, it depends on where the shadow hits the Earth. If it's near the tropics, then the Earth spinning matches the moon's shadow moving, so the relative speeds are lower, so the duration is longer. Whereas if the shadow hits the polar regions, high latitudes, then the relative speed is higher, so the duration is shorter.
Of the 17 that you've, or I guess 16 so far that you've seen, is there one or two that you're like, that one was like really good?
There are a couple. The one in Venezuela in 1998, we were on a beach and it was at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And as totality approached, the sea turned green, the sky turned purple, and the sand turned a beautiful gold like the evening sky. And all the children that were swimming away and playing started huddling with their families. They knew something was happening. The temperature dropped, and during totality, we could see 3 planets with the naked eye. For this eclipse, you should be able to see 2 planets. On the left will be Jupiter, and on the right will be the brighter Venus. Look for those planets. Also look for the red of sunset all around the horizon during the middle of totality. And look at the eclipse with the naked eye. During totality, you do not need your glasses. That's the only time you can look at the sun with the naked eye. And you'll see the corona, and you'll see red flames around the edge of the sun as well.
Is there somewhere on the internet that you have a blog or something that if people wanted to follow your adventures? adventures?
I have a Facebook page with my if you put my full name on, and also I have a website called crystal.com, KRYSSTAL.com, and the Eclipse page is /ecintro.html, and that has a list of all the previous eclipses, and you can click on there and see the stories from the past eclipses. There are technical pages with the path details, and there are human interest stories, people we met, and also I tend to publish all the bad photographs I take, because even if you're an experienced eclipse chaser, sometimes you forget how to use a camera during totality and you end up with some really strange looking photos. I like to publish them, I don't throw them away.
Thank you very much.
Thank you indeed.
Cool.
Great, well, it's good meeting you, man.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Good luck, enjoy the eclipse.
Which eclipse is this a picture of?
This is from last year's eclipse in Sulawesi.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
No problem, my pleasure. And yeah, the Sulawesi one.
Yeah. Wow.
So it's a very dramatic effect.
So it's not so much like a super fine line by the time it's going down the street.
The moon is not perfect, so it's hazy.
I was imagining, if you've seen Independence Day, when the big alien ships are coming in and like...
No. If it's cloudy, completely cloudy, then it might look like that. Cornwall was like that. It looked like a giant was walking across the...
Whoa. So that guy was frickin' cool, and I want to be his friend, and I want him to take me with him to his next eclipse.
Yes.
I want to be like the embedded reporter. I mean, not like he's in a Humvee, but
you know what we can do is I have his contact info. Sorry, I think we can contact him and see if we can set it up.
That would be so fun.
Yeah.
We are here with
Anna Wilcox, Executive Director of the Wyoming Eclipse Festival.
From what I can tell, if this were an orchestra, you are the conductor. Is that accurate?
I'll go with that. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
How long ago did you have to start planning for this?
I came in 14 months ago, so June of 2016. The city, the community, they knew it was happening. They'd had several meetings and conferences about it, just trying to figure out what we might do and everything. And 4 organizations got together and said, we need somebody who's able to know, even if this guy's doing this and this agency needs to prepare for this, that one person who can kind of keep everyone all on track and connect. And that's where I came in.
Did they just call you and you were like, hello?
No, the true story is I had actually just told my family, hey, I'm single, I don't have kids. I'm going to find someplace beautiful where other people go on vacation. I'm going to get a job there for a year or 2 and I'm just going to go. And 2 days later, the job popped up on LinkedIn. And it was about a 2 or 3 month process. And by May, I was out here. I spent my first 4 days in Casper. I was already sold on the job. The board on the conference call that I spoke to, I was already sold on all of them. But they were like, you've never even been to Wyoming before. You probably need to come and check it out before you pack up your U-Haul and head this way. 4 days made me realize that I was entering into this position and it would not just be for the challenge, but for the community. They swept me up in 4 days. I was like, I don't want to just do this. I want to do this for Casper.
At this point, after this is done, are you going to be like, I'm living here now?
Stop asking is what I'm saying to that question.
Okay. You don't know yet?
No, it is the hot question. Am I saying what am I going to do afterwards? And I don't know. I haven't. I said let's talk about it on August 28th after the eclipse and after I've had time to get back into my regular mindset. And then the community does suck me in 100%. I could see doing other things for this community as well. Yeah. And they've fully embraced me. So I'm hoping it seems like a mutual thing so far. So
I mean, we were talking after we left here yesterday and then today still, you are obviously just handling this job. I think you would make a fantastic assistant director on a film set. You're just do this, do this, do this, and it... Job
offers can start on the 28th, so take my card. Okay. We're talking about this. I think the hardest thing is I have a background in, I managed a business for several years, but I was in event planning. And I do love that. This is so much beyond that. Working with, government agencies and working with safety and working with all of the business owners and helping them prepare. It was a whole different perspective. I didn't actually plan an event. I didn't hire a band. I didn't, I worked with all of those event hosts, but I wasn't actually doing that. And I said, what would I even search for a job at this point? And then I think, oh my goodness, would I or could I actually go back to, I'd like 200 round tables with 10 chairs. Please use the beige tablecloths. You know, I don't know. I don't know what could follow this,
Maybe
to be honest.
Reach out to, I hear the next Eclipse is in Chile.
Yeah, I might need to learn another language, but I'm down. Seriously, maybe I'll take a little bit of a break because it was pretty intense.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only thing anybody's talked about in Casper for the entire time that I've been here. Every social engagement, I heard you were the Eclipse person. I was thinking about having camping in my backyard. You really can't get away from it. Not that I wanted to. I loved that. But I don't know if I could jump right back into something like that. Maybe I'll wait till the following one. Who knows?
Did you have any people contacting you being like, so I want to get married during the eclipse?
We actually did not have anybody come through this office asking that.
Interesting.
And we know that it happens commonly. We did have somebody stop by the booth yesterday that they were engaged during an eclipse. Diamond ring. And so this is the first eclipse that they've seen together since the proposal. And I love hearing stories like that. It was so awesome. And I hope that we get to see or hear one of those this time too, right here in Casper. That would be so awesome.
What was an example of like a weird kind of unexpected problem that you wouldn't think would be a problem that came up during the preparation for all this?
Getting buy-in from people. Convincing people that it was happening. It was going to be as big as it was going to be. You could tell somebody that an eclipse is coming and they can look up and see, yes, scientifically, and according to this, that, and the other thing, there is in fact an eclipse coming. But convince them that all of these people are coming from all over for 2 minutes and 26 seconds and that you might need to do some work, get extra inventory, be prepared. Every single business in town, myself or my team, we did business blitzes. We handed out a sheet of paper that had 10 bullet points. Here's how many people we're predicting. Here's when they're coming. Here's why they're coming. Here are resources so that you can understand this. And then you got to take it from there, or you can come and get some resources from us. One of my teams walked into a newer gas station in town, handed them the sheet, and it had a cool pair of glasses and everything with it, handed them the sheet, and the guy said, he handed it back to him and he said, "Oh no, thank you, we're not participating." And that's just like one funny example, but to be honest, we got that from a lot of people. We really don't care that this is happening. So it was for us to say, it's not as if the community had a choice. We got emails that would end with #NotMyEclipse. Well, #not ours either. You know what I mean? And I say that, not in a mean sort of way. For a lot of people, it's all of these folks coming into town. They do see the potential dangers. They do consider some incidents. We've been worried about fire because people don't understand what fire means here in Wyoming as compared to some of the less dry states. So they're genuine concerns. It wasn't, we don't like people. It was, these people, are they going to come in and party, for 5 days straight and destroy our town? Any community, anywhere, had to be thinking that at the beginning. So how do you convince all of those people that it's a positive? The economy needs it. That financial injection is a positive. The world knowing that Casper, Wyoming exists is a positive. All of that. So that was probably numero uno challenge. And you always took the risk of finally convincing somebody and maybe only 10,000 show up instead of 30,000.
Yeah.
So I think that, overall that was probably the hardest. But as you can see, we convinced enough people.
Yeah.
I think there are still some people that, thought this is going to be the best weekend to stay home so that they don't have to deal with it just because it's very unknown. We've been trying to get people to understand that probably nothing is going to come through Casper that's going to get everyone all on the same weekend doing this again. So it's not just for the advantage of the visitors. If you live here, this is the best weekend to be out and about and doing something. So that's been a huge message too.
The idea of I'm not participating is funny. And I think yesterday I commented that the most interesting part of all this to me is the idea that you can't stop this.
No.
It's going to happen. So what's the best way to handle that?
I will tell you something that will maybe shock you. We did not spend one single penny on marketing, advertising, or promotion. So never once did we say, come to Casper. Everything was put out there for the folks who are already choosing. So all of those websites out there that said Casper's the number 3 place, Casper's the number 5 place, Casper will be the sunniest, these people were already coming. Mm-hmm. So we had to figure out, what do we do with them while they're here? A lot of times I use the example, if you were running a daycare and you had 30 kids and you had 5 different stations, coloring and you know, a sandbox and whatever, everybody, and you had somebody monitoring each of those stations. Mm-hmm. So you know you got 5 people here and somebody's watching them. You got 10 people here and somebody's watching them. So the idea of each of these events and activities, these locations where we knew, okay, 5,000 people could be downtown at a time, and 5,000 people are watching a concert at Mike Lansing Field right now, and 4,000 people are attending the symphony tonight. So instead of having 30,000 people just wandering aimlessly, not knowing what areas need to be focused or where your resources need to be placed, so by embracing it and saying, let's give them places to be, then that helps us too. We now know where to put our resources. The community now knows what do they need to be keeping an eye on. Yeah. So really just having to roll with it. But we wanted everybody to know, once you got here, because you've chosen Casper, now what do you need to be doing? So you found our website, you found our Facebook page because you read it somewhere that you needed to be here. We're going to take care of you from here on out. But we weren't reaching and saying, come here, we need more people.
Yeah, you're a victim of location. Yes. I hope that after all of this work, you're going to be able to have time to actually experience it yourself.
I'm going to make sure that happens. We watched a documentary, and it followed a gentleman. He had packed up all of his gear, and they had hiked way out in the middle of nowhere. He had people helping him. It took him all day to set up. It was perfect. And 2 seconds before totality, a cloud rode in and covered the sun just long enough.
Just that one spot?
Just long enough. I'm not kidding you. It was like one cloud. I may be exaggerating, but it really was. That's what it was. And the camera was still rolling, and his shoulders dropped. I mean, he'd been working for 2 years to even get here financially, and then 2 days to get to where he was. And we're all sobbing, me and my board. We're like, turn the camera off this guy. I can't stop. But his emotion that he felt right then, we all felt it for that minute, and we're like, oh my goodness, this is who we're doing this for. This is why. Because the fun stuff beforehand, obviously that's just to keep people entertained. Yeah. But the safety and the logistics and, the welcoming nature, getting people in here, getting them hotel rooms, any assistance that we could give them to get here, because we now understood why.
I don't think this job could have been put in better hands.
Oh, thank you so much. Seriously. I will absolutely not take all the credit, though, because if everybody didn't say, yes, let's all work together, let's make this one cohesive event. If they hadn't all jumped on board, it wouldn't have happened.
Cool. Well, thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
We just arrived at Walmart. We found an Abby.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. Welcome. Welcome to Wyoming. It's been weirdly difficult to find places that are open to eat for dinner, but we're going to Frosty's Bar and Grill right there. Never mind, we're not going to Frosty's because Logan's parents had sex a little bit too late.
If none of us had said a word, and if we had all walked in there and sat down and opened up menus, no one would have ever ID'd you. But the people wouldn't have ordered. The people up front said that they carded you at the door. There was no one at the door carding anyone. I walked straight in.
Jesus.
Jesus. Yes.
Well, today was a long day, and this is probably going to be a long video. So if you somehow mustered the strength to sit through all of those interviews, I thank you. And I'd be interested to hear from you whether you like this much stuff, or if you feel like listening to this many people talk for this long is just boring. But I gotta go to sleep. We've got to be up early so we can shoot this Eclipse thing. So especially today, thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.